So in chemistry, what is most important? We have got three sections in chemistry. First is organic. Then we'll talk about the inorganic part. Hmm. So we'll just shift it here. Organic. Next we have the inorganic, and last is the physical. So talking first about the physical part, because that is the most dreaded part of NEET aspirants. They are mostly scared of this physical part. So talking about physical first. In physical chemistry, what is most important first? The understanding of the concepts are very important. The basic concepts of uh, all the chapters, that is, we come from solutions, then any other things and solutions, electrostatic, not electrostatics, chemistry and all. So the formulas should be remembered very nicely, all the formulas. And there in physical chemistry there are some shortcut formulas also, like there are some relations that are taught in every institute for direct conversion of molality to mass concentration and all. There are some direct formulas for physical chemistry that differ some direct conversion, so that the calculation becomes easier. So the formulas should be very nicely memorized for all, that is, of course, from all the NCRT formulas that are given in NCRT, as well as the coaching formulas that are given in the coachings, that is for nothing, just for saving time and for making the calculation easy. So all the formulas are very much necessary to be remembered in formula in physical chemistry. Second is that reading of NCRT is also very important. Reading of NCRT is also very important. NCRT reading, that is, NCRT reading gives you a general idea of the chapter. And NCRT reading in physical, if you talk about me, I have done physical chemistry reading for about all the chapters except for ionic equilibrium. You can leave, at least. Yeah, ionic equilibrium and the 11th part you can leave for physical chemistry, but 12th part is very important for NCRT reading of physical chemistry, and especially the electrochemistry part where all the cells and batteries are given. That is very essential. And if a question comes in need from that aspect, it always arises from the electrochemistry part, electrochemistry batteries part, electrochem batteries part. It is very theoretical. Electrochemistry batteries, very theoretical, as well as many questions can arise from that part, from the electrochemistry batteries part. Okay. So NCRT reading of all the 12 chapters is very important. Of all the 12 chapters, you talk about solutions, because solutions, there is one thing, that nitrogen escape or something is there. Nitrogen escape, that is nitrogen escape or something known as, yes, bends. I forgot. Yes, if that is bends, nitrogen escape or bends is there. That is also very important. Bends, that is a swimmer, when he is in deep waters, and when he comes up, the nitrogen escapes into something related to blood coagulation or something. So the bends part is important. It invariably comes in exams. The bends is important. Okay. So hmm, bends is important, nitrogen escape important, batteries is important. And I would recommend that a general reading of all the NCRT class 12 chapters is very important. Class 12th, not talking about 11th, because 11th is not very theoretical, but from 12th, one or two questions from the theory can arise. And if any theoretical question arises from physical chemistry, it always arises from that is NCRT. It will always come from NCRT. No need to read the coaching modules. Yes, you can read for knowledge purpose, but it won't come in exam. But yes, for knowledge purpose, you can have it. Yeah. Okay. So this for physical NCRT reading, formulas, and question practice. Yes, question practice very important. Question practice, you can solve any modules. Question practice of any module you can solve, of any module. Any module, let it be any module it can be. It may be PW. It may be Akash. It may be Allen. Anything. Any module will do. Question solving of any of those modules will work. Uh, so this is about physical. What I have said first is the formula reading. First is the formulas should be very good, nicely memorized from all the NCRT formulas. Of course, NCRT formulas should be always memorized. And second is the coaching, that the formulas that are given in any coaching module, or yes. Sometimes what happens is that the teachers in the class, sometimes they may forget to give the formula, or they may forget some important things, but it is always written in the coaching module. The coaching module won't be they won't do any mistake in the coaching module, because it is the coaching module that that is sold in the market. Acha. Second is NCERT reading of all the 12 chapters, very important. Then electrochemistry, especially what I'm saying, electrochemistry. This for special, and this for special electrochemistry. This comes invariably. Electrochemistry, batteries part and cells, and this bends in this thing, in solutions. Anything else I'm missing? Yeah, in solutions there is another question that invariably comes, is that why is molarity, why, or something that why molarity changes with temperature, why molarity changes with temperature. Yes, this is a question that also comes in molarity, that comes in NEET. What molarity changes with temperature? Because I think I don't remember exactly the formula of molarity, but it was, I think, molarity equal number of moles of solute, number of moles solved by volume of solution in liters, right? Volume of solution in liters. So when there is volume of solution in liters, the volume of solution always changes. Volume changes with temperature, because as temperature increases, I think volume also increases, I guess. So something related to this, you can go through it. So this important, this part is also important in molarity part. Okay. This is the physical part, and next is about question practice from any module. Let me do other than question practice for physical chemistry. We can also go for any Akash module, yes, and DPPs of, if you are doing any physics or anything. DPPs are also important for physical chemistry part. Now coming to inorganic chemistry, in inorganic chemistry, we have to solve the following topics. First is yes, for inorganic, only one and only solution for inorganic chemistry is reading NCRT multiple times. Reading NCRT multiple times. Don't worry, I'll revise it once again. I'll summarize it entire physical, then inorganic and organic once again. But okay, let's focus on inorganic chemistry. So now, if you know inorganic, there is no chance that you can miss some. Now inorganic, I think, comes for 14, or there are total, I think, 35 to 40 questions in I think physics, in chemistry, 40 or 45. If it's 45, then 15 questions comes from inorganic chemistry, and 15 for the 60. So inorganic fetches you a good 60 marks, and these 60 marks no one can take from you if you know inorganic. Inorganic is just like biology. If you know, you can. If you don't know, you cannot, because inorganic you cannot calculate in the exam. It's very theoretical, and if you know inorganic, you will easily score these 60 marks. These 60 marks are yours, and nobody can take your 60 marks. These 60 marks, if you know. And if you don't know, then these 60 marks are gone, that they are just vanished. So inorganic chapters, I think, if we come from 11th, classification, then yeah, classification and whatever I don't remember the chapters, but I'll focus on the block chemistry part. So block chemistry is the most dreaded part. Block chemistry of inorganic chemistry as a whole is a very easy subject, and if you and I would recommend some tips at the end. Okay, so block chemistry is very important, and for block chemistry you have to do nothing but reading NCRT multiple times. There is no concept in block chemistry as a whole. There is no concept. That means, yeah, they can give reason for some of the phenomena, but the reasons are not very not very conceptual. I mean, yeah, the reasons are there, but they are not very good, the reasons. So one and only way you can do good in inorganic chemistry, at least for block chemistry I'm talking, block chemistry, is just memorize. How to memorize? You cannot memorize entire NCRT one day. So reading multiple times, and talking about the memory structure in our brain, how does the memory get into our brain? So the memory comes into our brain when that means it gets embedded into the cerebral cortex, or all the cerebral cortex and everything, when there is multiple revisions. So forgetting, I'm talking about off topic. So forgetting is a natural phenomena. Forgetting is a natural phenomena, but remembering things is an uncommon phenomena. So remembering, how our brain always tends to forget the things. Why? Because the brain doesn't want to do some work. The brain doesn't want to use ATP, or doesn't want to use energy. So forgetting is a natural phenomena, and how will you remember it? How to counterpart it? How to work antagonistically to it is by just revising. How to revise? Just read NCRT every day. Block chemistry, if you talk about me, um, I started block chemistry in about I mean suppose in suppose in June July month, while while the in our coaching they were teaching, um, They were teaching, suppose they in coaching, they were teaching like chemical kinetics. Let us take example. They were teaching suppose chemical kinetics, and that time, keeping chemical kinetics at a side, that means we were also studying chemical. It's not that we were just ignoring chemical kinetics. No, we were studying chemical kinetics, but at the same time, we were also studying this. That is NCRT multiple times of which chapter of the block chemistry, because we knew if we leave block chemistry for the, that is, what is block chemistry? Block chemistry constitutes nothing but block chemistry constitutes your S block, SPDF block, SPDF, and the most dreaded part, most that means most dreaded parts of NEET aspirant for block chemistry is P block, because P block is a huge chapter, and there is multiple things to remember at P block. And P block can alone come for at least 180 marks. 180 to 720 P block can come, because each and every line of P block is a potential MCQ. And remember, P block you have to read it multiple times, and especially I think P block is still there, I don't know, in 12th P block. That is the P block that comes in 12th portion, is very very huge, and it can alone come for about 700 to 720 marks, but it doesn't come. Okay, it will come for I think 15 marks or something like that. So remembering P block is very important. Okay, so what I was telling is that yes, you start P block from now. How to start P block from now? Wait. Yeah, so sorry for the delay. So sorry for the delay and sorry for the interruption. Okay, so what I was saying is that yeah, so the P block is a huge part in block chemistry, and studying P block is a, and I would suggest whenever you're studying P block, whenever you're studying P block, break it into groups. That is, today suppose you have studied 13th and 14th group, suppose 13th and 14th group, and so I think 12th group doesn't come in. I think 12th group doesn't come in P block. I think I forgot. Okay, I forgot. P block. I think 12th group doesn't come. But okay, so some tips for block chemistry. And look, other than block chemistry, what is there in inorganic chemistry? I think coordination compounds. Coordination compounds is a very conceptual chapter, and even for coordination compounds, I would suggest that read NCRT multiple times. So the reading NCRT multiple times, this part comes common in all the three divisions of chemistry. That is either in block chemistry or either in inorganic chemistry, either in physical chemistry. Even physical chemistry, it was there. NCRT reading, Huh? It's not just NCRT. It's NCRT reading. Achha, I wrote. Huh? The NCRT reading is also very important. Huh? NCRT reading is also very important in. That is for 12th. Not I would suggest for 11th, because 11th chemistry, I don't know what NCRT is written. I think NCRT also doesn't know what NCRT is written. It's just like NCRT physics, what NCRT is written. Okay. So coming to the main topic is that whenever you're studying block chemistry or so talking about inorganic chemistry, what is there other than block chemistry? One is block chemistry. Second is your coordinate. Second is sorry. Second is your coordination. Coordination. Yes. So coordination is a very conceptual chapter. Coordination compounds. So for coordination compounds, I would suggest go for a video, because yes, it is a very conceptual chapter, and once you can once you understand coordination compounds, there is no going back. Okay, so there are some theories like valence bond theory, like VBT, then VBT, then we have the molecular orbital theory, MOT, molecular orbital theory. I think also there in block chemistry, sorry, in coordination compounds. So these things, and yes, what is most important, and I think what came in NEET 2024 when I gave NEET, I think what came in NEET 24 is your isomerism. Isomerism of this thing is very important. Isomerism of coordination compounds is absolutely important for uh, that is, it came in our time. It came in our time, so it may come in this year too. Isomerism is a very invariably asked topic in coordination compounds, and of course VBT, MOT, you should always go. And everything for coordination compounds, I would suggest go for a good video, good conceptual video. You can go for one shot, because it's chemistry. It's not like physics. And conceptual video, you understand the complete concepts. Okay, first of all is the concepts. Conceptual video will clear your concepts. Second is a question practice, and then you're done with coordination compounds. It's a very easy chapter, but conceptual chapter. Some people face some difficulties to understand coordination compounds, but it is very easy. It's very easy, and it's very conceptual, so it's easy. You don't have to memorize anything in coordination compounds, though I forgot it now, but I know I have that confidence. If I again go through that chapter, I will eventually understand it. Okay, so questions are from any module. You can solve any module. Questions, I'm not doing anything. You can, yes, of course. again, I would again suggest that read NCRT, because in NCRT there is a part, I remember in NCRT coordination compass there is a part for this thing, Ruby and all is given, Ruby, then some color compounds. Color compounds are also there in NCRT, that is not in NCRT but in coordination campus. There's some Ruby and all these things are there, and these things come in exams. They were asked in previous exams, like when CBSE used to do AIMS exam, and these, see, now they have eliminated the AIMS. They don't conduct AIMS. They don't conduct AIMS otherwise, but what they do is that they take the best ranks of NEET. So Ruby, color compounds, these are asked in some, and those who can answer these questions, you must understand, if you can answer these questions of NCRT, then you have taken a good grip of NCRT. Otherwise, if you cannot answer, then you are still lacking in that NCRT. So whenever you're doing chemistry, your NCRT should be in the tip of your hands, and I think for that I would suggest yes, because I said in Akash. So Akash modules are there. They are best. Section A part of Akash. Section A, section B you can solve, and then in section C you can solve. Section D is optional. You can solve because that is a bit tough. And if you're going for J, and if you're going for J, you can do section D. Section D is optional, so I'm giving an asterisk mark. Section D is optional. You can go for it if you are doing for J, but it is not. It's tough. That means you require some other concepts for section D. You have to solve some illustrations. You have to go for some other books like I think it's, yeah, other books like I think modern ABC or some other books like OP Tandon and all. But otherwise you have to solve, you must do these, and then if you have got time you can do section D. We did for some specific chapters but not for all chapters, because I personally felt a bit tough. And for inorganic, you should not solve many questions. You should, yes, you should solve, but before jumping to questions, you must have a very good of NCR, very good of NCR, very good grip of NCRT. Okay, so yeah, what I was telling in so coordination compass, we are done with it. So NCRT reading, what I'm saying, yes, NCRT reading, conceptual video you can see, and then you are done with coordination compounds. And for classification of elements, that is a very basic chapter. You have already for that is an 11th basic chapter. For that you can read NCRT again. Okay, there are some years and all given, and so you can read NCRT. Yeah, I'm again focusing on NCRT. This is a long video. It's 17 minutes. Okay. So for group 13th and 14th, you can go for this thing. Yeah. For group 13th and 14th, what you can do is, yes, now, yeah. So example, suppose you are studying group 13th and 14th, then what you can do, you can, yeah, from every line of NCRT, look, in inorganic chemistry, or not only in inorganic chemistry, that is a general thumb rule. Whenever you're studying any chapter, of NCRT, whenever you're solving any chapter of NCRT, right? Whenever you're solving any chapter of NCRT, always try to frame questions from each line, from each line, from each line. That means you must understand that, suppose there is given, suppose I'm taking a line from biochemistry part of class 11, that is biochemistry, that is all enzymes are protein in nature, all enzymes are protein in nature, protein in nature, except ribozymes. Ribozymes or ribonucleus, whatever there is. Ribozymes, I think it was ribozymes or ribonucleus, whatever it is. That means all are so ribozymes are actually ribonucleotides. They are RNAs or something like that. So that means I cannot recall the exact line, but it's something like, it was like that. So it was ribozymes or something. So that is what I'm going to say, is that try to frame questions from each line, because from each line, if you are try to if you're able to solve, if you're able to frame questions from each line, that means you're thorough with it. That means you're THROUGH. Yeah, that means you're thorough with it. And that means you should understand that if you are able to solve, if you're able to frame questions, that means in the next turn, suppose this is the first reading, when you're giving first reading of NCRT, this the thorough reading is important. And when you're giving second reading of NCRT, then you have to only go through these questions. Second reading, then when you're giving second reading, then you can only go through these questions. Go through these questions you can go through these questions would help, go through these questions, and these questions would help you eventually. I think, suppose now I'm again helping you. Suppose this one page of NCRT, this one page of NCRT, and here suppose the text is written. Suppose here the text is written, whatever it is written. So in these spaces you can you can frame questions in these. Okay, in these spaces you can form the questions and you can write it here. Here only you can. You have not. You cannot make another copy for it. You can write the questions here itself. Okay. Okay. Now coming back. It's already 20 minutes. I need to make it short. Okay. So done with NCRT. Every line you should make questions. Yes, whatever writing. Every line, make questions. Make questions. Right. Make questions from every line. Now last part, organic part. Organic chemistry. My most favorite part, organic chemistry. Again, what happened? Organic chemistry. My most favorite part of organic chemistry was organic chemistry. NCRT reading multiple times, and even for organic, you see, I scored how much? I scored 152 in NEET. I scored 152 in NEET chemistry, and I scored 97 in chemistry class 12th. Class 12th. So I think I am a reliable source for chemistry at least. See, I didn't solve any OP Tandon, nothing. What I just did is that did NCRT very thoroughly. And if you're thorough with NCRT, at least for 11th and 12th, you and if and suppose you're thorough with NCRT, you read some modules and you watched some lectures on YouTube or from any coaching institute. Any coaching institute would do. I did from Akash. So then you're thorough with it. You don't need to do from any other books. No, you are not required for any other books. Okay, so for organic, first is NCRT reading of each chapter of every chapter. Yes, organic, I won't spare any chapter. Each and every chapter of organic, NCRT reading is very essential, and not just one reading. Bare minimum is about 15 to 20 times. Yes, I did that. In my drop year, I read minimum 15 to 20 times, and before that I already read in class 12th. I already read. So chemistry was always my strong part. So NCRT reading minimum 15 to 20 times is very important. First, second is that solving NCRT questions. Yeah, I'm focusing more on NCRT this in this organic for solving NCRT questions. Solving NCRT questions, and what questions? What are the questions that are included in this list? Questions included is in-text questions, plus in-text questions is there. Then your first is in-text questions, then back questions of NCRT, back questions, plus in-text questions, back questions, and what else? Yes, NCRT back questions, in-text questions, and yes, and you can solve and illustrations, examples of NCRT, very important. Anytime the examples may come in the sense is that the reasoning of examples very important. Yes, you should always read the reasoning of examples. Suppose there are some why questions in NCRT, and they are very standard level questions, the questions that NCRT asks is very standard. The why questions, especially the why questions, why questions are very important. That is, the reasoning questions are very important. Okay, acha. Solving NCRT questions, reading NCRT, and whenever you, yes, one tip for organic is that whenever you study organic, always write, always write and teach. I would say always write and teach. And whenever you're teaching, speak out, speak loudly, like now what I'm doing is that I'm speaking out. Speak out loudly, speak out loudly. Speak out loudly, that is very important. And the next tip for organic is that always write reactions, practice. Now see, you cannot memorize reactions. Reactions are not meant to be memorized. You have to write. Suppose I don't remember any reaction now. I'm very sorry, I don't remember. Like, you have to always practice reactions. Practice reactions by writing, just by writing. So first you have studied the reaction. Suppose I'm saying benzene ring, plus something, I think. So let's suppose it be, I don't this not chemically correct. Okay, I'm supposed doing a example, plus ROH, suppose, and it's suppose giving So you have to understand the mechanism also. Mechanism is also important. Suppose it's giving H plus OH plus R, and suppose this gets eliminated. This gets eliminated as water minus H2O. You have to write minus H2. This comes, and this comes as like this. So this comes like this. This comes like this. So suppose this is a reaction. So always practice reactions by writing. Practice reactions by writing. So writing reactions very important, and with and solving questions. Yes, in yeah, this is very important. In organic, you have to solve questions. Solve questions also by writing. Solve questions by writing. Suppose you are encountering a reaction. So always try to write that. And whenever you're writing a reaction, then what happens is there is a neuro reflex action that is that gets set in your mind. So writing is very important. Okay. So now let's summing up the session for chemistry. Yeah, it's a big one. Okay, let me take it somewhere else. It's huge bit. It's wow, it's huge. Now summing it up and taking it somewhere else, because here there is okay. So it lagged. Oh, so coming it here. Now for chemistry, what you have to do first, let's get a quick revision of the summary. Physical. Wait, let it come here first. Hmm. For physical, first you have to do the formulas for NCRT coaching, then NCRT reading. So first is formula, physical formulas, NCRT reading coaching, NCRT reading. Then electrochemistry, battery is important, Baines, nitrogen escape. This question is about bimolarity, and this, and then questions practice from any module. DPP is important. Okay. Inorganic chemistry, first read NCRT multiple times. Then you can do for this for Akash. This is specifically Akash. This specifically for Akash. This for Akash. Akash. So what you can do is that you can solve A, B, C, and D is for option. Then block chemistry, SPDF, P is the most dread part. You can P is huge. Now whatever and start early. For I think for block chemistry, I would suggest start early. That would keep you ahead of your competitors. Every line make questions. That is whenever studying, make questions from NCRT for any line, like any chapter. Try to frame questions from each line. Read NCRT and all. Just given. Then coordination compounds, MOT important, BBT important, NEET 24 and 24 isomerism came from coordination compounds. Conceptual videos, you can see questions, you can practice, and these Ruby and all these were asked earlier in AIMS level, AIMS type questions, AIMS type examinations. In organic chemistry, NCRT reading is very important. Is this most important part? See, you cannot think of skipping NCRT, but still, if you are thinking of skipping NCRT, never think of skipping NCRT from organic and inorganic. For organic and inorganic part, every topper, everyone who gets selected in NEET always studies NCRT. So NCRT reading of organic and inorganic very important. Organic and inorganic NCRT study. Then solving NCRT questions important, in text, back questions, then examples. Then tip is there, whenever you study, always write and teach, speak out loudly whenever you teach or whenever you study. Now practice questions by writing, because writing is very important. As I already said, writing is important. Now this suppose this is a bad equation, this is not chemically correct, I think, but still I just gave you example. And solve questions by writing. So this is it, and thank you for watching my video. Thank you. I am signing off. Bye bye.